I'm in social media. Like no one uses my social media, any of my social media, any of my comments. Nobody has access to anything. That's me. So if I'm saying something, it's me saying something. If I'm in them comments, that's me saying what I'm saying in the comments. I have recently, since October, since SiriusXM has been videotaping my show and I've been putting things up on YouTube, I would just throw things on YouTube like Sylvia's shoes or like Ron had a hat, or I'm making like I didn't understand the platform, so I would just put stupid stuff up. But since Sirius been filming the show, I've had content to put up as a thank you to the people who rock with us, to give them a little bit more. So of course you can get it on the app, but it was also kind of an introduction in my mind to introduce people to a show that they don't know, and maybe they'll come and subscribe to SiriusXM. That was the goal. What I didn't expect was that was all people would watch and think that they're watching the show on YouTube. So what I find with YouTubers versus Twitter, which Twitter has a snobby, Black Twitter's kind of snobby. These are people that are high on their horse. They got a lot of opinions. They're very arrogant. They think they know everything. And YouTubers think they know everything, but they actually know nothing. So that's the difference, right? So you have people who are wildly ignorant, who have a lot to say on YouTube, and then people who may know a lot and they're wildly judgmental. I can't stand either one of them. So let me just be really clear and transparent. I don't like folk on Twitter, the Black Twitter people, and I can't stand the people on YouTube either in the comments. That said, it is worthy of a conversation, Drew McCaskill. It's worthy. It's worthy.
That lead in?
Yeah, go ahead. What you?
that lead in right there? No, I think there's definitely a difference between the folks who are on Twitter and the folks who are YouTubing. Particularly with I feel like that Black YouTubers have way more Twitter fingers than Black Twitter folks. If you understand what that means, like they go hard and say some really egregious stuff on YouTube. There's also Karen said a little bit of a snobbiness there, but I think that there's a
class distinction. Let's say there's a class distinction because
thinking.
There's a class distinction between YouTube and Twitter. And I feel like people on YouTube who have a lot to say, they go down these YouTube rabbit holes. So YouTube as a platform allows you to go, you can spend 2 days looking at stuff on the Illuminati. You can go for 2 days looking up stuff on how Obama is actually an alien, and you can find, all kinds of data. You can look at documentaries. So it is, to me, also very dangerous because you have 1 billion people on YouTube. So there's 1 billion people on YouTube and all of this access to content that's not vetted, whereas Twitter seems to be more folks who are journalists. And here's the other thing. With Twitter, I've curated my Twitter space. So I blocked and deleted anybody that comes in there talking nonsense. It's so much harder to do that on YouTube. So you got to filter 1 billion trolls versus, in Twitter's algorithms, everybody doesn't see you on Twitter. So not only can you curate your own space on Twitter, but the filters allow for just a certain amount of your content to go out, whereas YouTube is like everybody. So now you're like, swatting flies. I'm amazed at how horrible people are on YouTube. Like, I'm amazed at how cowardice people are on YouTube. Like, they just say anything and they think that they can just get away with it. And by and large on YouTube, you can get away with a whole lot more. Twitter is where you get canceled, though. I don't know if you get canceled as easily on YouTube, but it's an interesting thing that he's talking about. And both can be really powerful if people use them for the purpose that for good purposes. Use the power for good. I don't know. But I love Twitter. I love Twitter, my space on Twitter. As a culture, not so much. And I think that the Black folk on there allow for their energy to be usurped without anything in return. We've talked about that. Yeah. But I don't know. Our family on Twitter is pretty dope. Follow Drew at Drew McCaskill. He's dope. Drew McCaskill. You can follow me at Karen Hunter. We have a nice family on Twitter.
Yeah. That's the part that I think I completely agree that I love about Twitter is that you can sort of curate what you want and who you want to see, and you can kind of turn off you can turn the faucet off on some of the toxicity on Twitter a little bit easier than you can on YouTube. People come on YouTube, they jump on the videos, they say sometimes really, really uninformed, really kind of crazy stuff, and there's no way to really turn those people off. And that's what one of the things that makes YouTube totally different. But hey, thanks for the view.
Yeah, I guess. The other thing, let me just say this too. There's a monetary value to toxicity. Toxicity, is that the word? Toxic behavior.
Oh,
that's how
yeah.
toxicity. So you can, the more views you get, the more money you can make on YouTube. And I'm gonna put the distinction out there. I don't make money. I don't make my money on YouTube. That's not where I make my money. So for me, I don't give a F. Whether you follow me or don't follow me, click on it, don't click on it. Matter of fact, I invite a lot of people to stop watching. I do that. Stop watching. Tune it out. Whereas if I only made my money on YouTube, or I made the bulk of my money on YouTube, I wouldn't have a different attitude because I'm wired differently. But if that were my sole income or my biggest check, I would operate differently. I would operate in a way to get more people in there fighting, more people in there commenting, more people, with the toxic thing. And because that is how that algorithm works. The more people engaging, the more money you make. It's an algorithm. And so I'm always leery when people are like, you should have so-and-so on the show. For what? They're YouTube sensations. That's not a real thing, by the way, y'all. Just because you have 1 million followers on YouTube doesn't mean you know anything. Logan Paul there's kids opening gifts that makes $26 million a year, that has millions of followers. There are people playing video games on YouTube. That's not a barometer for value. Dr. Greg Carr has hardly any followers on YouTube. And you can't tell me he's not one of the most brilliant people, but yet this is where we are right now, right? And I think it's to our detriment that we have a space that people feel like they can come to and is valuable, when really you have to check under the hood to see who's making money and what's their real agenda. Is it really for the furtherance of black people? If this is how you make your money, having black people fight? Or are you here for your own dollars? Because every time you go on and you stay on for an hour, because that's another thing with the algorithms, you stay on for an hour with this back and forth, cha-ching, 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 right? That's something we should have that conversation one Tuesday, Drew. He just set me off, though.
We should definitely talk about that, because a lot of people who are saying stuff on YouTube are not saying stuff for righteousness. They're saying stuff to get people upset and to get people pissed off, because pissed off people click, pissed off people respond, pissed off people like and dislike other people's responses. So there's a monetary value associated with getting people pissed off and annoyed. There's also a monetary value with throwing out something that you know is wrong, because you know that people will then jump on and correct you with passion and vitriol. And then you get a chance to be passionate and vitriolic back to them. And then you steady clicking up the clicks. You're clicking up the engagement numbers. You're clicking up the likes. And then you can hear the cash register ring, right? And so I think that we as consumers have to be conscious consumers of content and conscious consumers of the shit we buy. All of those things.
All right. Well,
everybody who's out there throwing out stuff for black folks are not for black folks.
Period. You know a tree by the fruit that it bears, since we throwing out scripture.